Good afternoon, good people. Nobody's in here yet, but I'll be back. So, but you guys check in. Give me a second. Come on in, good people. I'm here. I need to grab my laptop because today we're actually doing the giveaway, and I want to be logged into the YouTube because the information for the giveaway was for you to subscribe to the YouTube page, leave a comment, Shadow Work Journal giveaway, and we were going to be selecting someone from the page. So, good afternoon, good people. Shinzi, how are you? So welcome everybody. I appreciate you all joining us again on Sunday. As you all know, each and every Sunday, yes, each and every Sunday we're going through the Shadow Work Journal, and I'm just giving some additional insight into the steps that are provided in the journal. But most importantly, I'm focusing on the reflection questions because those are the questions that are actually going to give you the tools that are applicable to your everyday life to help you actually start to change those behavioral patterns. So as you all know, this Sunday is the Sunday that we're actually doing the giveaway, where I will be selecting someone from the YouTube page, someone that has subscribed to the page and then left a comment, the Shadow Work Journal giveaway. Anita and Larry, I'm so glad you received your journal. So a good bulk of people have already received their journal. That's why these are going to be more and more. I anticipate that more and more people are going to be logging in as more of you are receiving your journal. And you have not received your journal yet, you can still log in and participate. When you do get your journal, you can go to the YouTube page where these videos will be uploaded. And as you get your journal, you can start from the first video that we did and just work your way through the journal until you're caught up. Today, we're going to be covering part 4 of the wound mapping fill in the blank activities. Before we do that, I'm actually, I won't do it right now because I want to give some people some time to get in here, but around about 4 p.m., I'm going to log into the YouTube page and we're going to randomly select someone that subscribed to the page and also left a comment under one of the videos saying Shadow Work Journal giveaway. And I am going to be shipping that person a free copy of the Shadow Work Journal as a thank you to all of you that have participated and that have actually ordered the journal through one of the links on my previous videos, but also as a means of giving people who cannot get the journal right now for financial reasons, giving them an opportunity to join us on this healing journey. As I stated in my previous video, I'm going to be doing these giveaways once a month. What I also realized was there are some of you that actually want to contribute a journal to someone else. So we'll kind of talk about that a little bit at some point here. I want to move a little fast today because I want to end somewhere around about 4:33 to give us a complete hour. So at 4 o'clock, Becky, if you're here, remind me at 4 p.m., wherever we are in our fill in the blank activity for the day, we're going to stop. I'm going to log into the YouTube page. We're going to select the person that we're going to be giving a free copy of the journal to. Here's the caveat. That person has to be here on this live and logged in right now. So if I select someone, I'm going to wait for them to respond and say, hey, that's me. And I'll try to match up the name or whatever the case may be. If we can confirm that's you, all you have to do is send me wherever you want me to send the journal to by email or through my direct message, and we will get that journal shipped off to you today. If that person is not here, I will select another name until we get to the name of someone who is actually logged in and joining us right now, because that was a part of the rules, which is you had to go to the YouTube page, you had to subscribe, and then you had to leave a comment, Shadow Work Journal giveaway. And then you had to be here today so that you can actually be acknowledged as the winner of the giveaway. Again, giving away the TikTok and YouTube names are different. Oh, your TikTok and YouTube. Okay, so if you win, you'll know because I'll call your YouTube name. And if that's you, just verify. Most of you have your picture in your YouTube, so I'll be able to verify, and then we'll get you shipped off your copy of the journal. All right. So like I said, I really want to get into the information and get us moving because I want to end right about at the 1 hour mark today. So for those of you that are new to what we're doing here each and every Sunday, we've all decided to go on this healing journey together using the Shadow Work Journal as a guide to actually doing shadow work. Briefly, I want to cover that many people have a misconception about shadow work. They hear the word shadow and they're associated with witchcraft and all those other types of things. Shadow work, in the context of what the word shadow means here, are the parts of yourself that you've repressed, that you've hidden, parts of yourself that you may be ashamed of, parts of yourself that subconsciously you may have hidden in order to survive some type of trauma or some type of event in your life. And the work part of this is actually revisiting those parts of yourself, showing love and compassion to those parts of yourself, but actually addressing those emotions, addressing those feelings that you've repressed, that you've hidden, addressing whatever that emotion that's attached to those events are, so that you can integrate yourself wholly and completely. The ultimate goal of doing shadow work is really healing, but also to change a lot of those behavior patterns that we develop out of our traumas that are not serving our best interest. So that's what shadow work is, and that's what we've all decided to do as a collective, and we're using the Shadow Work Journal to do so. I've selected the Shadow Work Journal as a tool because it's simple to understand. It gives you in-depth understanding of what shadow work is, but more importantly, the activities in the Shadow Work Journal actually help you through a step-by-step guide to doing your own shadow work. So that's where we are. Normally, I recap the last few videos that we've done, but you can go to the YouTube page, and it's youtube.com/@girl_dad. Same way my name is here on my TikTok page is exactly how you would put it into YouTube. You just have to put the @girl_dad. That's how you get to the YouTube page. It's actually in my bio here on TikTok. That's where you're going to find these videos. So if you're just getting your journal and you've missed the last 3 Sundays that we've been doing this, you can go to the YouTube page and you can catch up going through all the fill in the blank activities until you've caught up to this one. And then hopefully by next Sunday, you'll be ready to go in part 5. So before we get started into the fill in the blank activity, I want to lead us through the breathing activity that we've done every Sunday when we start doing these. I always recommend, it's on its way, can't wait. Brenda, I can't wait for you to receive it. But until then, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're joining in. And like I said, you can catch everything that you've missed on the YouTube page. So when you get it, you'll be able to watch the videos and kind of see exactly what we're doing here today is what we've done every Sunday through the previous sections of it. All right. So one of the things that I always recommend, and is recommended in the journal, when you start your shadow work for the day or wherever you are, find a comfortable space. Find somewhere where you can kind of be at peace, where you won't be distracted. But most importantly, do a grounding activity. I do this breathing activity that I learned when I was practicing Tai Chi. I'm going to share the basis of the breathing activities with you all. And then we're going to actually do the activity. And then we'll actually start on part 4 of the fill in the blank activity. This particular activity covers anxiety. So we're going to go through the fill in the blank activity, and then I'm going to focus most of my time and attention on the reflection questions, because that's where I believe I can be most of a asset and a contribution to most of you on this shadow work journey. So the breathing activity that I learned in doing Tai Chi, that I practice as a grounding activity before and after I do my shadow work, it starts with this. What I want you to kind of think about is most of the time when you inhale or when you take a deep breath, thank you, Gray, what you notice is your chest will expand first. That's not the goal in what I'm going to show you today. You really want to kind of feel the air in your belly. And then when you're pulling in that air, you want to focus on the lower part of your abdomen, which is this area right here. I would suggest right where your pubic hair starts to grow at the very bottom of your abdomen. That's actually a chakra point where that's where you want to focus when you're pulling in that air. And that your stomach should inflate first before your chest does. And that's how you know you've pulled that air deep into that area. As you're focusing on that area, when you exhale, you want to push that air out slowly. And you also want to kind of pull your stomach in as you're pushing out that air. That's the breathing activity that I use as a grounding activity. It's always worked for me. Normally, when I come out of the breathing activity while we're here on Sundays, I feel like a completely different person. My voice even gets deeper and it works perfectly. So that's the one that I recommend. But if you have a grounding activity that you're already doing, one that works for you to help you get grounded, and pretty much grounding is just being present in your body, pulling you away from those thoughts and those different things that may be distracting you, those different things that you may be experiencing throughout the day. Grounding just kind of pulls you to be present in the moment, which is where you want to be when you're actually doing your shadow work. So with that said, because we don't have a lot of time today, I'm going to go into the breathing activity, and then we're going to go into the fill in the blank activity. And then at 4 p.m., we're going to go log into the YouTube page, see if one of the winners, or at least the name that I select, hopefully they're here. They'll send me a direct message and I will ship them off a free copy of the Shadow Work Journal. So with that said, again, that breathing activity, you want to inflate your stomach first. While you're breathing, you want to focus on the very bottom of your abdomen or the very bottom of your stomach, and you want to keep your mind focused there. As long as you're kind of focused in that area, your brain won't travel too far into all the things that you may have going on. All right. So with that said, we're going to proceed into our breathing activity, and then we'll get started with our fill in the blank activity. I usually check my shoulders first. That's usually my first indication on if I'm relaxed or not. So I just kind of loosen up my shoulders to make sure that I am relaxed and that I'm sitting in a comfortable position. All right. That activity that breathing activity right there works wonders for me. I do it often. Yeah, it's one that I would recommend that you do even if you're not doing shadow work. If you just want to ground or relax, are the cookies ready? Or I just got a text. The cookies are not ready. I just got a text. But it's one that I would recommend you doing even if you're not doing shadow work, but you just need to ground and you just need to relax. Again, you want to focus your mind on the very bottom of your stomach, your abdomen. That is a chakra point. And as you breathe in, you want to feel that your stomach is inflating first. And then as you're breathing out, you want to slowly pull in your stomach and slowly push out that air. All right. So again, because we are limited on time today, we're going to get straight into the part 4 activity that we're working on. So just so everybody can catch up on where we are, this is the shadow work journal. Part 1 of the journal is the introduction into what shadow work is. If you're just receiving your journal, I recommend that you read this section first. It's going to give you a lot of that foundational information that's going to help you along through your shadow work. So the section that we're in is, before we get into the activities, the first thing that was covered is wound mapping. So we're in this part, the shadow work activities, part 2. And part 2 covers wound mapping, which we covered on the very first Sunday. Yeah, I want to mirror it, Goddess, but if I mirror it, then I got to go back in and try to flip it back over, and I really just want to get into the information. But essentially, it's just part 2, which is shadow work activities. And part 2 covers wound mapping, and there are several fill-in-the-blank activities. We've been covering each fill-in-the-blank activity every Sunday. So this Sunday, we're at part 4, fill-in-the-blank activity part 4. And this part, or this activity, really covers anxiety. So one of the things that I suggest when you're doing your fill-in-the-blank activities is there's no set way of how to do this. Whatever works for you to get the results and the answers that you need, the honest answers that you need. What I recommend is when you're reading the fill-in-the-blank activity, once you read, as you're reading the blanks, first of all, I suggest you getting a whole nother notepad so that you're not trying to squeeze your answers into these little lines that are provided in the journal, right? Because your answer may require you to write a paragraph. It might require you to write a lot more than what these lines will permit. So if you've been with us on the previous Sundays, I made this suggestion already. You should have another notepad right here so that you're actually using that to write down what you're thinking. So what I recommend is, once you read the blank, write down the first thought that comes to your mind. Don't hesitate. Whatever that thought is, write it down first. Once you've completed, once I get the book, gotcha. Once you complete the actual fill-in-the-blank activity that way, then I suggest that you go back, read it. When you get to a blank, sit with yourself and just kind of go within yourself and see if there's an answer for that blank that resonates with you deeper and more honestly. And then write that down as well. If the two answers are in correlation, that's fine. If the two answers are different, that's fine as well. Because oftentimes what you'll recognize is the answer that came to mind instantly may be more relative to where you are right now in your life. But the answer that comes up when you kind of sit with yourself and you go within, it may be more relevant to your upbringing or to a previous trauma. Both of those things may need to be addressed. So it's okay to keep multiple answers, paragraph, whatever it is that comes out. This is your shadow work. There's no set way of doing it. There's no expectation other than you being honest and you working through this for your own betterment, right? So that's how I do the fill-in-the-blank activities. I write down what comes to my mind first instantly. And then when I read it back over, I kind of take my time and go within and see if there's another answer that comes up. Lindsay, welcome. We're glad that you're here. Much love to you all today. Today's a struggle for me today. Well, Lindsay, if today's a struggle, then you came to the right space, right? Because a part of why I knew this would be an amazing idea for us to do this together, because we can be that support group for one another. So whatever is happening today, Lindsay, I just want to speak into your life and let you know that whatever challenges you may be facing on this day, all of the strength that you need to overcome those challenges you already have within you. I just want to speak that whatever challenges may be coming up against you today, that you already are in the process of overcoming them. If it's a matter of confusion, the answers are already there for you. If it's people in your life that are being complicated, I speak that you have the ability to center yourself in such a way that you can deal with them in a way that will bring resolution not only to them, but it'll help you bring peace. I speak peace into you right now, and I speak a fortitude into you that whatever these challenges are, that they will not overtake you, that they will not overwhelm you, but that the strength to overcome those challenges, the strength to face them is already inside of you, and that strength is exuding outside of you now. I speak that you are in a better place, that you're around people that are sending you an energy that will give you the strength that you need, an energy that is surrounding you with love and peace, knowing that we as a collective love you. We as a collective are a support system here standing with you, that whatever those challenges are, none of them will overtake you and none of them will overcome you, but that you will be successful and that you will stand firm in whatever it is that you need to stand on, and that your peace is restored to you. And I speak that knowing that it is, and so it is. And we do love you, Lindsay. And I'm glad you joined us today having those moments because you're in the right place. You're around people that love you, people that stand with you, and people that know that all that you need to overcome whatever challenge you're facing, you have that inside of you. And now we are speaking that power, that strength, that love is omitting and coming out of you and giving you all the answers that you need so that you can move forth in peace. All right. All right. So I'm going to go through the fill in the blank activity, and then we're going to go straight into our reflection questions. We got 9 minutes before we actually select the winner of the Freak Shadow Work Journal. So I'm going to try to go through the fill in the blank activity first, and then we'll stop. I'll select that winner. Hopefully that person is here. And then we'll move forward and cover the reflection questions. All right. So part 4 of the fill in the blank activity, it's going to be this one in the wound mapping section, which is part 2 in the journal. Right. Again, just so we all are. So we're in this part, shadow work activities, and we're on part 4 of the fill in the blank activities. All right. Hopefully we're all on the same page. I love the support, y'all. Pour love on our sister in this moment, because that's why we're here, to be a support system to each other. And I love the fact that you all are doing that. So let's keep it going. Tasha, I can't wait till you get yours as well. Until then, join us, and you can always log into the YouTube page to catch up on everything that you've missed on the previous Sundays to this one. Nava, welcome, my brother. Good to see you. All right, so the fill in the blank activity reads, and this fill in the blank activity focuses on anxiety. So it's blank makes me tense. I typically feel this tense sensation in my blank. This makes me very blank. When this happens, I start to blank. I think it is because blank and blank. Next time I feel tense, I will soothe myself by blank. So what I'm going to do for this activity, because this is something that was very prevalent in my life, and I'm going to give you all this example just so you kind of understand what type of processing you should be doing to fill this part out, especially this part on anxiety. So for me, failing and being embarrassed makes me tense. And it was more prevalent in my life prior to actually me doing this work. So I'm more referencing things that were before, but as I walk you through this for what it was for me, you'll kind of get an idea of what you should be sharing with yourself and with your journal in this particular activity. So I typically feel this tense sensation. For me, I would get really hot and sweat. Whenever I would have to do, and I've been public speaking since I was about 21, right? But whenever I would have to do public speaking, because of the fears of failure that I carried from my traumas, I would get really, really hot and I would start sweating. And I remember there were times when I was working with nonprofit organizations and developing youth programs for them as a contractor, I would have to go into these organizations and make a presentation of, this is the program that I developed for the young people that they were working with. And I remember there were times I would be in front of this board of people and I'm making my presentation, and for like the first 5 minutes, because of that trigger response of not wanting to fail and not wanting to be a failure, I would get extremely hot and I would start sweating. And I remember there were times where like people would just sit there and stare like, it's pretty cool in here. Like, why is he sweating like that? Right. And it got to a point where going into certain situations, I would have to let people know that this was just a physical response. It's going to happen. Don't be alarmed, but I'm probably going to sweat profusely for the first 3 to 5 minutes of my presentation, and then I'm going to be fine. This makes me I would get very embarrassed by this. I would get very embarrassed when that anxiety would build up inside of me and I would have that physical response. I'd get very embarrassed by it. When this happens, I start to obviously sweat, or most of the times I was very assured of the information that I was presenting to these organizations or to whatever group of people I was speaking to. So it never impacted my ability to actually deliver the information, but it was very embarrassing, especially if they didn't know, and especially if I could see the reaction of the people that I was speaking to and them kind of looking at me really weird. But next time I feel tense, I will soothe myself. So what I learned to do in these situations, and this goes back to kind of the healing process of why shadow work is so important. What I learned to do was talk to myself. So before I would go into these situations, like I would have a pep talk with myself. Hey, you got this. You know the information that you're going to present, and there's no reason for you to be afraid of failing. There's no reason for you to be afraid of falling short of anyone's expectation. You're here because you have a desire to present to this organization something that is going to help so many young people. And because your heart is in the right place and you know the information that you're getting ready to present, you do not have to be afraid of any type of failure, any type of embarrassment or falling short. You don't have to attach this moment to anybody else's thoughts about you or any other times in your life where you have fallen short. This moment is now, and you can do this, and you've got this. And all you have to do is walk in here and deliver the information in the way that you know how. And that really helped me. What also helped me was this breathing activity that we're doing before we start the process here, where I would just take a few moments and breathe and let that air kind of just wash over me and let that anxiety just fall off of me. And then I will go into these presentations and knock it out the park. But I share that just to give you an idea of where you should be coming from in this activity. These are more of the lighter activities, but they matter. So as you're doing the fill in the blank part of this activity, be honest as to what resonates with your life. Be honest as to what's true for you. It may not be something that's current. It may be something that's from your past. It may be something that's from your childhood experiences. Whatever that is, I always suggest that you do the box breathing when my anxiety is real bad. And it helps, Veronica. Absolutely. So whatever it is that comes to mind as you're doing the fill in the blank activity, write that out. As I suggested earlier, have yourself a separate notebook or a notepad so that you're not trying to squeeze your answers into these little blanks that are in the journal. All right. And then once you've actually said what comes to mind first, take some time to reflect within and see if a different answer comes up that's more true. But these are the lighter activities, but they still matter. So do these activities honestly and fill them out. And then I'm going to pause here. I'm going to log into the YouTube. We're going to see if the winner of the Shadow Work Journal giveaway is here and logged into the live. And if you are, once we acknowledge who you are, just give me a direct message of where you would like the journal sent to, and we'll ship you your free copy of the Shadow Work Journal. If that person is not here, I'm just going to go to the next name that I'm going to select until we find somebody who is here. And then we'll get back into the journal and do the reflection questions, because again, that's where I believe a lot of the meat and the potatoes of the journal is. And that's where I want to focus my attention, because if you haven't done shadow work before, or if you haven't done a lot of this internal work, sometimes working your way through the reflection questions can be a little bit difficult. All right, so let me log in here and let's see who we are giving the journal away to. So I don't know if you guys saw my post. As I log in, I'll tell you guys this story real quick. The other day, I was in the comment section and I came upon a conversation where this was the day after we started the giveaway. A young lady was asking if we're doing any giveaways. And before I can actually respond, I saw that another viewer, or I'm going to call her name Ty, had responded to her and said, hey, send me your Cash App and I will gift you the journal. And I followed their series of the conversation. Manifestation consultant, how are you? Welcome. And I realized that the young lady provided her Cash App and Ty actually gifted her the funds to acquire the journal. Upon seeing that, like, I was so moved that someone would just be so invested in someone else's healing that she would just gift her money to acquire the journal. And it was put on my heart that to see Ty do that, that I was moved to be a blessing to her. So we blessed her with something just for her taking that gesture and doing that for somebody else. That was powerful, right? But that's a lot of what this journey is. As we heal, you develop a compassion for others, and you want to see other people get that healing, get that release, and get to that space in their life. So we're going to be doing these giveaways every month. We'll do them more frequently as the opportunities present themselves. So let me log into the YouTube page and we are going to select a winner. So I'm going to do this randomly. Obviously, I'm not going to pick just the first comment, but I'm going to scroll through the page here and just randomly select who we're going to be giving the journal to. I've got to clear some notifications here and then we'll get in. So if you're here and you went to the YouTube page and you subscribed and you put in the comment section, Shadow Work Journal giveaway, put a yes in the comments so I know that you're here. I'm not going to look at the screen and try to pick you, but I just want to know that there are folks here that actually wanted to win a free copy of the journal. All right. So I'm going to refresh the comment sections as well as the subscription section because we want the winner to be someone that is subscribed to the page so that you can follow the content. All right, so I do have someone that I'm going to select. So if your YouTube handle is so 3 days ago, B Soul Fly wrote Shadow Work Journal giveaway. I'm definitely excited about the giveaway. I've been hoping one would come up for it. Be So Fly. If your YouTube handle is Be So Fly, and I'll flip this so you all can kind of see what I'm looking at. So we're selecting this person right here. Be So Fly. Are you here? Part of the rules of the giveaway was that you had to be here on this Sunday. So if not, Be So Fly, if you're not here, I'm going to go to another video on the page and I'm going to select someone else. So Be So Fly, are you here? No? The YouTube is just Girl Dad right there. And the way that you get to it is basically www.youtube.com/@girldad. And that's what the page is going to look like. Of course, our beautiful Zori. And then you'll see the same picture icon. So that's basically it right there, right? @girldad. So we're going to go to the first video that we posted in this series. pause the video and let's go into the comments. All right. If your YouTube handle is, I guess that's Elon Bush 13, and you're here, let me know if you're here. So I'll do the giveaway portion of this for 10 until 410. And if 410 hits, then Becky, you're going to select someone that is here, that has been in the comments, and then we'll ship it to them. So Alan Bush 13, if you're here, let me know. If you're not here, I'm going to go to another video and randomly select another person to see if they're here. Does he do this every day? So we'll be doing this one Sunday out of the month where we'll actually give away the journal. If we get enough people to actually participate in gifting the journal to other people, then we'll do it more frequently. But the idea here is just to allow people that may not have the opportunity to be able to obtain the journal right now, to give them the opportunity to do so, to join us on this healing journey by giving them the journal. All right, so on this video, we're going to go with Graceful Blossoming. Graceful Blossoming, are you here? Graceful Blossoming, are you here? So Jean says, I've been trying to better my life. I have a bad past and 7 children. Jean, so one of the things that that I speak about here on this page, and that also shadow work is really rooted in, is that no matter what your past is, you are the author of your future, right? You have the pen in your hand right now to author what your future is going to be. So regardless of what your, and one day as we're doing these sessions, I'll give you all an in-depth understanding of my past so that you can see the contrast of the young man that I was at 21 and the man that I am today at 42. The point is that no matter what your past experiences are, you are the author of your life, and you are writing the chapters of your life that will become your future today. Right, Jean? So welcome to the family. Welcome to the collective of people that are on this healing journey with us. And no matter what your past is, sister, the path forward and what your future is going to be, it's up to you. Awesome. All right. So Becky, I'm going to call one more person. And then if that person's not here, I'll let you select someone that is in the live right now. And then that person will either message me or message you, and we will ship them the journal. All right. We're going to go with the first person here. 5 days ago, Jennifer Eden. Jennifer Eden said, Shadow Work Journal giveaway. Would love to do this. Thank you for giving back and what you do to help everyone do it. So Jennifer, if you're here, you are my last selection to see if you're actually, wait, Almond Joy, you said you're here? What's your YouTube handle, Almond Joy? She ain't here. Okay, I got you. You'll take Jennifer's. All right, got you. All right, so let's do this. In the comment section, since Jennifer isn't here, for those of you that actually ordered the journal, right? And for everyone that's actually in the comments that have expressed their desire for the journal, Becky, you in the comment section, let me know who we're sending the journal to. Tasha said me. I tried too hard to find your YouTube page and I can't. So it's youtube.com/@girl_dad. Send it to Blissful Greatness. All right, who's Blissful Greatness? I mean, somebody that's here in the comments. Is Blissful Greatness in the comments right now? Like on this live? Devontae, what's up, brother? Appreciate the love. Okay, got you. All right, so I tell you what I'm gonna do. We're gonna pick two people that we're gonna give the journal to today. Blissful Greatness. Direct message me wherever you would like us to send the journal to, and then I'm personally gonna select Goddess K. I'm gonna send you a copy as well. So Goddess K, go to the comment section. Go to the page, direct message me where you would like us to send the journal to, and then Blissful Greatness, same thing. So we're going to actually give away 2 copies of the journal today. Now, full transparency, I already have the copy that I'm going to be shipping, that I wanted to do the giveaway for. The second copy, I'm actually going to be purchasing for you. So I'm not the author of the journal, but I do get an incentive by promoting the journal and using it as a tool. But to do the second giveaway, I'm actually going to be purchasing it and sending it to you myself, right? So just direct message me, let me know where you want us to send it, and we'll send it. And then, like I said, as more people are engaged and willing to gift the journal to someone else, if you want to gift the journal to someone because you know how impactful it's been for your life, direct message me as well. And then what I'll do is, however you and I arrange for us to obtain the copy of the journal that we'll be giving away, next Sunday, we'll do the exact same thing, and we'll gift the journal to someone who wants to join on this healing journey, but is unable to get the journal right now. So Becky, please get those 2 names for me so that when we're done, I make sure I know who I need to be sending the journal to. All right. So again, for everybody that's gotten a copy of the journal, thank you, especially if you've ordered it through one of the links on my previous videos. This is just a small way to say thank you to everybody for doing that, but also because we know how impactful just being on this healing journey can be, this is a way for us. See, y'all being awesome already. Definitely, Becky, we can do that. We'll coordinate that. Just make sure you have Almond Joy's name, and Almond Joy, send me. Actually, Becky, this is what you can do. You can actually order it directly for her. So Almond Joy, if you want to DM Becky your information as to where you want her to send your journal to, Becky and I will coordinate so that she can order it for you through one of the links on one of the previous videos, and we'll just do it that way. So that's essentially 3 journals that we're giving away today, and that's amazing. So again, thank you for everybody for just being a part of this movement, being on this healing journey with us. What I'll try to do is, as more people are invested in giving away the journal to someone else, we can start doing this every Sunday. As we do these sessions, we'll just gift somebody a copy of the journal. I'll do personally one of mine every month, but as more people are engaged in giving away the journal, we'll get more people on this healing journey. We'll give more people an opportunity to actually work through whatever their past experiences have been and to join us in becoming the best versions of ourselves that we can be. And this is what we're seeing right now is the core of why we're doing this and why these types of things are so important. There's so many other things that we could be doing on TikTok, but to know that we're all invested in seeing other people reaching their best version of themselves, that motivates me as to why I do what I do here on this app. And it motivates me to show up every Sunday knowing that there are going to be people like you all that are going to join me on this mission. All right. So with that said, let's get back to the reflection questions as to where we are in the journal. Again, we're going through the fill in the blank activity part 4 in the wound mapping section, which is section 2 of the journal, just to get everybody caught up and back on track. Okay, so we're in this section, shadow work activities, We're on part 4 of the fill in the blank activities. So the reflection question, the first one reads, when does my anxiety take over my mind and body? Do I see a common reoccurring theme as to what triggers my anxiety? Remember last week when we were talking about your anxiety and your fears are really are teachers, right? They're not supposed to give you directions. They're simply giving you information. So if you think about why you do the fill in the blank activity, it's just for you to reflect. And then when you do the reflection questions, it's for you to, based on what you filled in for the fill in the blank activity, how can you now look at that information and find tools or find information in what you reflected? So the question is, when does my anxiety take over my mind and body? Do I see a common reoccurring theme as to what triggers my anxiety? The point of that question is to teach you, right? Because your anxiety is supposed to be giving you information. What it's doing, it's your body's way of trying to inform you that something is not right, or something in your subconscious mind is creating an unsettling feeling for us right now in this situation. So what are I want to hear some of you all's responses to that, and then I'll get into my notes and I'll cover what I wrote, and then we'll go to the next question. What are some reoccurring themes that triggers your anxiety? For me, in my process of healing, it was whenever I had to either speak publicly or whenever there was a potential of not meeting the expectation of the person or persons that I was speaking to. Feeling abandoned. Lindsay, that's a good one. And that trigger, right, is rooted into something in our previous experiences that whenever we kind of sense that emotion again, it creates that anxiety, right? Lack of control of the outcome. Goddess K, I can relate to that. And some of that is rooted in that failure also. But as we go through this healing journey, what we'll start to learn and understand is once you have your mind set that everything is going to work out even beyond your expectations, which is one of my my affirmations. Regardless what I'm faced with, regardless what the situation looks like in front of me, I always speak into my situation and into my life that everything is going to work out beyond even my own expectations. What that does is it eases the anxiety and the concerns about the outcome. Because no matter what I see in front of me, I am convinced that the outcome is going to work out even exceedingly above what I expected to. And what it does is it takes away that anxiety and that fear of what the outcome is going to be, because I'm settled. I'm settled in the space of knowing that the outcome is going to exceed even my greatest expectation for myself. That's a lot of manifestation. But as we go through this healing journey, what we're also going to do is talk about some manifestation, because understanding manifestation also helps with dealing with anxiety. Because once you know that what you speak into your life is going to be, and the outcome of your life is the energy that you're pouring into your life, and you understand how that works, you don't worry about the outcome that you can't control so much, because now you understand that the energy that you're putting into your life and the energy that you're putting into this situation is going to impact the outcome. And as long as you're doing the things that you're supposed to do, you have no reason to fear whatever the outcome is. And even if the outcome seems unfavorable to you in the moment, know that that unfavorable moment is not the end. One of my other affirmations is, and this is a warrior affirmation. This is an affirmation that I take when it seems like everything is not going in my favor. My foundational affirmation is this: as long as I've got breath in my body, I'm not defeated. So I attach that affirmation to, I know everything is going to work out exceedingly above what my expectations are. So no matter what it looks like in front of me in the moment, as long as I've still got breath in my body, the outcome is still going to come out in my favor, right? And once you start to understand the power of your affirmations and the power of your words and the power of how you position yourself, then you really understand what manifestation is about, because manifestation is not just saying it, right? It's saying it with an unmovable belief that what I said is so. The reason why it has to be unmovable, because no matter what's in front of me, I'm not moving. When I used to teach people, one of the analogies that I use when I teach affirmations is this: you will affirm a thing, or you will desire a thing in your life, right? And the example that I use is, for instance, you might pray for rain, and you might speak rain into your life, right? And you stand in the spot that you expect the rain to fall on. And because the rain didn't come at the time that you expected it to, the moment you move and go across the street, it's going to rain right there in that spot. So for me, my foundational affirmation, no matter what's happening in my life, no matter what it looks like in front of me, I've still got breath in my body. It's not over for me. I've still got breath in my body. I'm not giving up on what I believe for myself. I've still got breath in my body. The outcome is still going to be in my favor, right? So these are some of the things that you learn on your healing journey, and you have to apply on this healing journey to make sure that you're constantly pouring the thoughts and words into your life that are going to bring forth the outcome that you desire, because ultimately it is not over until you give up, quit, or stop believing. And if your foundational principle is, as long as I've got breath in my body, then as long as your eyes open and you're still here in this plane, in this dimension, then it's not over for you. I've come from places where it should have been over for me many of times, right? And I'm talking about life. I'm talking about not being successful. I'm talking about all of those things. So I know, like, the extreme forms of when I say, as long as I've got breath in my body, I say that with a determination that every fiber of my being, every cell in my body aligns with me when I say that. And I look every and any situation in the eyes. And when I say that, things move in my life. Even no matter what it looks like in the moment, when I say that affirmation, I stand on it. And no matter what's in front of me, it must move, because unless it kills me, it's going to move. All right. I got a little excited there because I got to talking about my warrior affirmations, and those change things for you. But anybody that wants to adopt that affirmation, you can have that one. As long as I've got breath in my body, I'm never giving up. As long as I've got breath in my body, I'm not quitting on myself. As long as I've got breath in my body, I'm not going to stop believing for the things that I desire for my life. You can have that one. And when you say it, there has to be an energy that comes from within you, where you know that every fiber of your being, every cell in your body is standing with you when you say that. You know how they say that faith can move mountains? The idea of faith is manifestation. It's the same concept. But that idea of faith, unwaverable, unmovable, unshakable faith, is the gas or the fuel that powers manifestation. All right. So the question was, when does my anxiety take over my mind and body? And again, your anxiety is just educating you. Whenever you become anxious, it's trying to educate you about a thing, either from your subconscious, a thing in your mind, or something that is driving this physical response that you're having. So you want to look at your anxiety and even fear as a teacher and not let it consume you, because again, your emotions are designed to give you information and not directions, right? And do I see a common reoccurring theme as to what triggers my anxiety? So what I wrote was, this question is pointing to your trigger. Remember, previously we said as a teacher, anxiety is trying to show you what's beneath the surface. If you identify a reoccurring theme, you can find the root. My example, rejection and failure. I knew that's what drove my anxiety. The fear of rejection and the fear of failure, because growing up, I was told consistently, you're going to fail, you're going to be nothing, da 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 da. And out of that trauma, I developed this mentality of no one's gonna outwork me and no one's gonna work harder than me. But even with that, even though people see those things as good attributes, there was also that anxiety of failing, that anxiety of not being good enough, that anxiety of falling short because of those traumas. And having worked through those traumas, I embrace the potential of failure now. I understand that failure is a part of the process. So I'm no longer afraid to fail. I'm no longer afraid to not have it perfect. I'm no longer afraid for people to give me criticism. But that came from me identifying what the root cause of that anxiety was. Once I was able to identify it and link it to my childhood and link it to the way that I was spoken to and link it to the way that people spoke into my life, and understood that out of that experience, I may have developed these good attributes, or at least things that people see as good attributes now, but that anxiety came from that same place. So what I had to do was I had to go back and speak to that version of myself. You're enough. You are enough. You will be great. You have greatness inside of you. You were born to contribute to this world in a way that no one else can. Your gifts will always make room for you. You are gifted. You are talented. You are loved. I had to speak to that part of myself that way. And believe it or not, some people think this is all like pseudo neuro whatever. You have to speak to those parts of yourself that were repressed, abandoned, abused, or neglected. We think that because we've grown in age and in stature, that psychologically we've also grown from those places. No, you have not. Those places are still in your subconscious mind, and they're still alive, and those ideas and thoughts are still there. Until you go back and speak to those versions of yourself, they still pop up as triggers, they still pop up as thoughts that you can't control, and they still pop up as behaviors that don't serve you. That's the purpose of shadow work. To identify what those parts of yourselves are, and then speak life, speak positivity, speak growth, speak compassion to those parts of yourself, so that you can integrate those parts of yourself out of your subconscious mind, out of the shadow, into your conscious being today. That is the purpose of shadow work, right? But that's what I had to do once I identified what my anxiety was rooted in. I had to go back and speak to that part of myself so that I understood when I'm in moments and when I have to do a presentation, or when I'm in moments in front of people, I'm not afraid of failing because of that traumatic event, because I've spoken life into that part of myself. I understand that I have what it takes to succeed. Right? And you have to find what that root of your anxiety is, and then speak life to that part of yourself. Pull that part of yourself out of the darkness of your subconscious, and integrate that part of yourself into wholeness, into being part of who you are today. All right. So the second question, what can I physically do to release my anxious energy and tension? So I'm going to open that up to you all. What are some of the things that you do, or what do you think you can do to release that anxious energy and tension? And we kind of talked about a lot of it already. Deep breathing. That's the first thing that I have in my notes. Breathing. And not just, no. When you breathe, that's it. When you're doing a breathing exercise, you have to visualize what you want that breathing exercise to do within you. Right? So oftentimes when I'm doing the breathing exercise, depends on if I'm just grounding or if I'm breathing because something has happened. I envision weight falling off of me, or I envision water pouring on me and washing away whatever thoughts, emotions, or whatever it is that I no longer want on me. I subconsciously start twirling my locks. If it helps to soothe you, Goddess K, I like it. But if it's only pulling you away from the thing, because, you know, we kind of have these icks where we do certain things that kind of pull us away. Sometimes that pulling away is more repression. It's more of repressing that feeling instead of dealing with it. But if it soothes you in that moment, but you're still conscious in the moment, then I like it. Take a walk and stretch. You will be surprised how effective just stretching or walking can be. Absolutely. I like that one though. Reset my vagus nerve using cold temps. Ooh, I like that, Lindsay. It does give you that boom. I like it. I like it. Listen to music that soothes you. Absolutely. Run. Listen, Becky, you hit it on the head. I'm an avid runner. That's what I do, right? I'll wake up sometimes first thing in the morning and I just I'm gone. And it helps me to really settle, calm down, and get myself together. So you all are already hitting a lot of the things that I put in my notes. So I'll just go through it really quick. Oh, this is a really good one. This is a really good one. And I want you all to note this because this will help. Rehashing positive memories when you were previously successful at the task or assignment at hand. So for me, here's what that looks like. My anxiety used to come up a lot whenever I would do public speaking. I've been public speaking for almost 20 something years now, but it would still happen, right? So what I started doing was I would think back to the last event that I did and how successful it was and how impactful it was. And that would just take me to a place where instead of that anxious energy, I would settle into that confident, positive, loving energy of the responses that I got from the people that I spoke to last time. And instead of that anxious energy, the memory of that successful event or that successful speaking event overcame me. And then I was in that space, right? So go back to your last win. Well put, Becky. That is a strategy that if your anxiety comes up in times when it's something that you need to do, go back to a space when you were successful at doing that thing. If your anxiety comes back in times when you're confronted by certain people or certain situations, think of a person or a situation that brings you positive memories. Believe it or not, the reason why shadow work is so critical to do is because there are emotions attached to your memories. That's why when we remember a certain thing, whatever we experience at that time, that emotion overwhelms us. Knowing this information, you also know that there are emotions attached to your positive memories. So if you find that your anxiety comes up at a specific time or a specific situation, think of something similar to that person or that situation that is attached to a positive memory. And what you're going to feel are the emotions that are attached to that positive experience. So that's a good one that's always worked for me and something that I've employed a lot of times in this work. And then lastly, I wrote self-talk. I cannot stress enough how powerful it is for you to talk to yourself. So you all know the running joke, people that talk to themselves are crazy. Here's what I always say. And people find this amusing, but I mean it with every fiber in my being, right? I think, no. The running joke is people that answer themselves have a problem. I actually think if you don't answer yourself, you have the problem. It's a joke, but hear me out. Respectfully, I have enough respect for myself that if I say something to myself, just out of respect for me, I'm going to respond. That's my running joke about answering yourself. But the overall point that I'm making is if you don't believe in the power of speaking to yourself, let me help you understand how powerful speaking to yourself is. Remember, someone else said a thing to you, and because of what they said to you verbally, what they verbalized to you impacted you. It impacted the way you felt. It impacted the way you thought. It impacted the way that you responded. It impacted the things that you did. Someone's words did that to you, right? Okay. Knowing that, That is exactly the same ability and the same potential that your words have when you speak to yourself. This is where the idea of affirmations come from, because we understand that the vibrations of our words have an impact in the physical reality. Words have power. Exactly, Goddess K. Words have powers. Words are a part of the vibrational field. Go research this, go look online, YouTube it, whatever. There's been experiments where, depending on the vibrations and the words, even words that were spoken to plants or different type of life forms, it impacted how those life forms grew, or whether they successfully grew or whether they died. Words have power. Your words specifically over your own life. Put it like this. I can say something to you that is detrimental to you, right? This is the power of words. I can say something to you that's detrimental to you. When I speak that vibration to you, the way that this works is, if you receive the vibration that I just spoke over you, it has the ability to have that impact over you. But if I speak a thing to you and instantly upon hearing it, you go, that is not my portion. I reject those words. Those words do not sit with me. Those words do not identify with me. And then you start speaking what actually identifies with you. You just nullified what I spoke. It's really warfare at times. But I say all that to let you know that you have the power with your words to speak things into your subconscious that will ultimately start to be a part of your behavior, your processing, and your thinking. The same way that someone else was able to speak things into your life and it got stored in your subconscious and it became a part of your thoughts and your behavior, you have that power. But your power to do it is greater than any outside force. Because the only way that that outside word actually takes hold in your subconscious is when you receive it. That's why when we're children and we're susceptible to receiving things, the things that are spoken over us oftentimes become who we end up becoming in our life. Because it is at the point when we're most vulnerable to receive those words that they stick in our subconscious. When you understand that, then you understand a large part of shadow work is actually finding those spaces where things were spoken over or to you, and then rewriting those parts of your subconscious mind, pulling them out of the shadow, addressing them, but speaking a more positive word to those parts of yourself so that they can integrate with who you are and you become more whole. So speaking, not just thinking it, actually verbalizing, hearing your own voice speak that which you desire is powerful. Practice it, do it, make it a part of your life, and not just affirmations. Sometimes I can change my emotions by verbalizing what I want to feel. I might be upset about a thing, and in my mind, I might be justified for being upset, but I know that the anger in that moment is not serving me. But the emotion is attached to what just happened and it's strong. When I want to change that emotion, I start speaking something. I start speaking, you know what? I'm not going to hold on to this emotion, nor am I going to let this emotion of anger hold on to me. I'm going to let this emotion go because this emotion is not going to serve me in this situation. I'm going to choose to release this anger, and I'm going to choose to be forgiving and loving towards myself and forgiving towards that person. I'm going to choose joy in this moment. I'm going to choose to be happy in this moment. I'm going to choose to smile right now because I know by smiling, I'm releasing that anger, and I'm not going to let this person or this situation dictate or determine how I'm going to feel and who I'm going to be today. I'm going to be joyful today. I'm going to be peaceful today. Those words, I promise you, I guarantee you, if you start speaking to yourself that way, you will see instantly your vibration starts to change. Your energy starts to change because you have that power and that ability. All right. And then the last question, because we're definitely over our hour, but we'll close out strong and lovingly, right? So the last question is, what thoughts help soothe my anxiety How can I improve my self-talk, right? To be less self-critical when these emotions arise. I just gave you a great example of that. That's how you do it, right? If you ever find your voice, watch this, two things. This is critical and very important. So we'll close here with this. Most of us that have experienced some type of verbal abuse, whether they intended to be abusive or not, right? Sometimes people just speak what they think. Sometimes people in our lives thought they was giving us encouragement or trying to steer us in the right direction, but it was actually verbal abuse. And if you were a child and this happened to you, what it does, it stores those negative words in your subconscious. And here's how this happens, or here's how this plays out in your life as an adult. And I'm going to teach you a skill set that if you've experienced some type of verbal abuse in your life, you need to learn this skill set. So here's how it happens. We'll be in situations, or we'll be at some point in your life where your thoughts are negative towards you. You can't do that. You're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to accomplish that. They don't like you. That's out of your reach. That's more than you can accomplish. I don't even know why you're trying. Your own thoughts will start to produce this for you. Am I the only one? Give me type 2 in the comments if you've ever experienced your thoughts speaking to you contrary than what was in your own best interest. Type the number 2. If this has ever happened to you, type the number 2. So I'm not the only one. When your own thoughts are feeding you negative things about you, about what you can accomplish, about what you can do, let me tell you what that is. Those are not your thoughts. Those are thoughts that have been downloaded in your subconscious. Remember, I said a few Sundays ago, your subconscious mind is a computer hard drive. During your early childhood years, the program that you are most likely running now, today, as an adult, was downloaded onto your hard drive. Whether it was the words that people spoke to you, the way people treated you, the things that you saw, the things that were done to you, this is the program that you're more than likely running today as an adult. The program that was downloaded on your hard drive when your hard drive was brand spanking new, more than likely when you were a child. So if you've experienced any type of verbal abuse or doubt or any type of those types of traumas, that is embedded in your software, in your hard drive. It's there. So when you hear these negative thoughts, they're not yours. It's your voice, but they're not yours. They're just programs that are running on your hard drive. What do? Here's the key. You speak against those thoughts. You speak power over those thoughts. You disengage those thoughts from your hard drive. Here's how you do it. That thought of negativity does not belong to me. That thought of doubt does not belong to me. I no longer identify with that thought of self-doubt. I no longer identify with that thought of being incapable. Every time that thought arises in your mind, you need to speak against it, and then you need to speak what you actually desire for yourself. Here's what you're doing when you do that. Because, and I explained this last Sunday, those thoughts are coming out of a file that is stored on your hard drive, right? When that file opens, whether it's you got triggered by something or you're faced with something or whatever it is, that file opens, those negative thoughts that have been stored on your hard drive come out of that file. You hear them. You can either accept them or reject them. Rejecting them is good, but you have to take the next step. Speak what you believe of yourself, because what's happening is that file is still open. So not only do you reject those negative thoughts, but you then speak who you know that you are, because what you're speaking is going to go into that open file. Boom, the file closes. You just put like a page in there. Next time that situation, whatever it is that triggered those thoughts to come up, next time you're in that situation again, that file is going to open. More than likely, some more negative thoughts are going to come out. That's fine. Refuse them, refute them, reject them, rebuke them, and then speak more of who you know you are. What you speak goes into the file. Over time, once that file opens, you know what's going to come out? What you've been speaking and not what they spoke over you. That's the process of why we're doing shadow work. To pull those files that are stored in our subconscious mind, in the shadows of our mind, to identify what's in those files and rewrite what's on those files. And the way that you do it is with your words. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, because remember, that file has been on your hard drive for 20, 30, 40 years for some of us. So every time that file opens up, whatever triggers it, negative things may come out. Refute and rebuke those negative things, and then speak what you desire and what you know you are into those files. And over time, you will rewrite that file, so that whenever that situation arises that opens that file, what comes 60, Lori, what comes out of that file is what you've been speaking over your own life and into your life, and not what they spoke over your life and what they spoke into your life. That is why we're doing this, because we have that ability. 53, because we have that ability, right? That is why we're doing this, because we recognize we now have the power to change the things that we could not change when we experienced them. Let me see what's the last thing I wrote in my notes. And then we'll wrap this up. Becky, make sure that you send me everything for the winners from today, please. Okay, here it is. So what I wrote in my notes is stop doing. Yeah, we're definitely going to close on this one. This is powerful. When I wrote this, I forgot this is what I was going to close on. But I want you all to pay attention, and pay attention good, right? Because I'm going to say this, and then I'm just going to set some expectations for next Sunday, and then I'm going to get out of here. Stop doing to yourself and others what was done to you. Stop doing to yourself and others what was done to you. We adopt the attitude towards ourselves that was harmful from others. The things that they said to us, we then adopt that and start saying that to ourselves, and we start saying that to other people. The things that they did to us, we continue to do that to ourselves, and then we do it to other people. That is why in the process of shadow work, we learn to forgive ourselves. Yes, it's a trigger response. Yes, it's a trauma response, right? Yes, someone did this to us and put us in this state, but then we continue to do it to ourselves. I know that for me, because I was harshly criticized as a young boy, and because they were so hard on me and they never gave me any grace, any love, I was that way towards myself, and I was that way to the people in my life. You have to stop doing to yourself what was done to you. And that is where that love towards yourself and that compassion towards yourself comes into play. Because really, if we look at ourself, if we look at our destructive behavior, our destructive behavior patterns, it's the same thing they did to us. The things that we do to ourselves that don't serve our best interest, if we really look at it and look at the root of it, it's the same thing they did to us. That grace, Shenzi, your therapist is on point, right? So in the process of learning what happened and why it happened, and forgiving whomever did it, we have to show ourselves grace, but then most and more importantly, stop looking at ourselves the way that they saw us and start speaking to ourselves the way that we know we are, and start speaking to yourself as the person you are striving. There it is. Start speaking to yourself as the person that you know is the greatest version of you. Start speaking to you as if right now, today, you are the greatest version of you. You know why? The same way that most of us lived up to whatever expectations they set for us, whether it was low or not, right? And I'll give you an example. Sometimes for young women, you're told, "Oh, you're promiscuous," and da 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 da. And oftentimes, what you find is these young women actually grow up and live out those things that were spoken to them, right? In that same way, if you start speaking to yourself today as if you are today the greatest version of yourself that you can be, subconsciously, you start to strive towards that. Blue Rain says, my affirmation, I am living the most abundant version of my life today. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we had 3 giveaway winners today, right? First of all, let me do this real quick. Let me shout out my moderator, Becky. She is amazing. Always here to help out, always genuine, just down to earth. We have a lot of down to earth conversations when we're not on here. She sometimes helped me to ground when I get off some of these tough conversations. These recent Sundays haven't been as tough because we're using a journal. But I just want to shout her out and say thank you. Just in her continued amazingness, she's gifting someone else a copy of the journal. I'm going to be shipping somebody 1 copy that I already have in my possession, and then I'm going to be purchasing another copy of the journal to give to another person. I got it, Goddess K. Awesome. Plus, trust me, Goddess K, Becky is going to make sure that I don't forget, right? That's what she does. She does her part, and she does that part very well. Let me forget to do something I said I was going to do, and she is on my head. But so shout out to her. Thank you for everything that she does. She's here moderating and doing all the reminder and all the amazing things that she does to really just help me execute everything that we're trying to do every Sunday. Shout out to each and every one of you for joining. We're going to keep working through this thing. The journal is pretty thick, but there comes a point after these activities where a lot of the journal are prompts, and those are pretty, you'll kind of, and that's I'll say part 3 of the journal, when you get to the prompts. And at that point, like, we would have done a lot of the activities that are going to prep you for that. And the prompts are more going to be just general conversation. So I know the journals seem really thick, but we're going to get through these parts of it. And then you'll really start seeing those applicable tools that you can apply to your life. All right. So thank each and every one of you for joining me. I will see you all next Sunday. What time are we here next Sunday? Put it in the comments. What time are we here next Sunday? What's your name, Coach? My name is Khan, like John with a K. That's Kohn. Khan, like John with a K. I'm cool with Khan. I'm cool with Girl Dad, whatever you guys run with. 333. Shout out to all the people that know. Meg of the Caribbean, don't trip because you said 3:30. I'm not mad at you, But 333 is our number, and we're out. We'll talk about the numbers soon. 333 Eastern Time. Dragonfly, you on point. So next Sunday, 333, and I'm usually on at 3:30. Give you all the 3-minute grace to get here. But next Sunday, 3:33 p.m., we will be back at it. If you have not gotten your copy of the journal, go to any one of the last 3 or 4 videos on my page. Click on the link on the video. Get yourself a copy of the journal. Meet us here next Sunday at 3:33 p.m. We're going to be doing exactly what you saw us doing today, talking about the steps that are providing in the journal. I'm going to be giving you all some additional context, some additional guidance throughout the journal. But most importantly, I'm here to pour love, life, and wisdom on you. And like I always say, love yourself. I'm going to modify it. I'm going to say 2 things today before I click off. Love yourself like no one else can, but here's the next one. Love yourself in the way that you know they should have. Love yourself like no one else can. And the reason why I added that second part, because we know a lot of our trauma came out of our expectations of how we knew we should have been loved and they failed us. And that's where our hurt came from. So now that we are where we are and we have the awareness and the consciousness that we have, we don't have to wait for no one else to love us that way. Because if we love ourselves the way they should have, then we're good because we now have that ability. So love yourself like no one else can, and love yourself the way that they should have. DM me if you need any additional help and support. I'm here for you guys. Reach out to me. I'm always available. And again, I will see you all next Sunday, 3:33 p.m. I love you all. I'll see you all there.